Good morning. It's Wednesday, December 2nd. Thanks for being here. And don't worry if you missed last night's video, that's because there wasn't one. As I say, Lord willing, when we do these, sometimes don't always get to. But anyway, Lord willing, we'll have one tonight. I want to continue with our theme of making the most of every opportunity. And I think sometimes as Christians, we lose sight of the reality that we are always in the presence of God. So even the quote unquote small mundane things that we do are done in the presence of God and are to be done as an act of worship to God, as Romans 12:1 very clearly directs us in that way. But we tend to think of making the most of opportunity as some chance for a big breakthrough. You witness to someone and they immediately come to Christ, or you get something across that you always wanted to get across, and there's an epiphany, a breakthrough moment, and you're pretty excited about it. And those things are all valid and certainly worth our attention. But what tends to pale in comparison, and I think this is what robs us of the real joy of knowing God, is engaging God in the minute to minute, making the most of every opportunity in the moment by moment features of life. So as we've been reading, Paul says, make the most of every opportunity. He follows that with let your conversation be seasoned with salt and full of grace. Well, let's take this right down to a very basic level. I covered this in my book, Everyday Talk, in a section on how we use pleasant words. Pleasant words are a way to make the most of every opportunity. Let me read you a couple of paragraphs from the book to illustrate what I'm talking about. And this has to do with the kind of universal thing that all parents seem to struggle with. My parents struggled with me and my brothers, and it was an issue in our home growing up with our children. But this particular structure actually began to help. And again, my wife Ruth was the excellent reference point for this. I say this in chapter 4. God does not want your children to obey simply because you are bigger than they are and can physically control them or manipulate them. Obedience is more than giving in to coaxing or threats. God wants your children to obey you because it pleases Him and blesses them. Well, how can you tell the difference between this force thing and this situation when they obey Him because it's a good thing? Well, I'm going to deal with the universal of taking out the garbage. So here's an example. A mom says to her son, Joshua, take out the garbage now, please. Joshua says, sure, Mom, no problem. Well, this is maybe the quintessential dream of all parents to have a child respond that way. But this is not an accidental thing. Joshua's mom really expects to be obeyed. She doesn't ask Josh a question. She gives him clear, pleasant direction. She doesn't whine or plead or bargain or threaten. She speaks directly to him, but she speaks pleasantly. Joshua knows exactly what she wants him to do and when. You see, Joshua's been trained to understand that obeying Mom is doing exactly what he's told, doing that right away and with a great attitude. And without that, that's not obedience. If you just settle for doing what is told, whatever means you can coerce it out of the child, that is not making the most of every opportunity. That's making the most of enforcing your will. Proverbs 16:20-24 speaks specifically to the power of present words. Understanding is verse 22 in that chapter. Understanding is a fountain of life to those who have it. Folly brings punishment to fools. A wise man's heart guides his mouth, and his lips promote instruction. Pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones, that is, to the body. You see, we make the most of every opportunity in the everyday moments of life by using God's direction to have our speech be seasoned with salt and grace, by using pleasant words and not manipulating, not controlling. That's a powerful thought. And it's not just with children, it's with all of our relationships. Pleasant words, as Proverbs 16 says, promote instruction. They do more than that. They promote friendship. They promote peace. We don't have to grump or complain or demand or challenge. And if we're at that point, the best way to get to the best outcome is to start deploying pleasant words. Using pleasant words, as Proverbs tells us, is a great way to make the most of every opportunity that you face. Again, love your feedback, and Lord willing, we'll be back tonight. That's our thought for today. Make the most of every opportunity. Use pleasant words that honor God and bless those that you're talking to. Thanks so much for being here, and you have a great day.